So let me show you guys the setup we've got here before we keep going. Well, my name is Amanda Veals, and we're in one of my study sites for my master's thesis. When I realized that I could study wildlife conservation and management, I knew that was the field for me, not just because I would get to, be out in really beautiful places like this, but also to do really important research for the conservation of species. My master's project is looking at the spatial ecology of a mesocarnivore to inform disease management. So what I'm doing is I'm using gray foxes as my study species, and gray foxes are some really interesting animals. They're the only canid in the entire world that can climb trees, which is really cool. But also, they're really understudied in the southwestern US. So we're looking at how they use the landscape and what kind of habitat they're selecting for so that we know where they are and how far they move. And this is really of importance for gray foxes because gray foxes in Arizona carry a unique strain of rabies. So understanding spatial ecology and disease ecology and how those two fields connect is really important, not just for the conservation of gray foxes, but all the other species that could potentially be affected by rabies. We've got the sardines in the back with some sardines on the pan. My methods are pretty straightforward. I do camera trapping and I do radio telemetry. So with the camera trapping, the way we're doing that is we're setting them out stratified in a simple random design by habitat type. So by determining what cameras foxes are being detected on versus those that are not, we can understand occupancy as well as habitat selection. The other portion of my methods is radio telemetry. We set out these really large cage traps and we bait them with sardines. Once the fox goes inside, we then collar it with a GPS radio collar. That collar collects spatial data for us and stores it on the collar. Once the fox has been running around with the GPS collar for a while, we then go out into the field and we use the radio beacon that comes off of the GPS collar to track down the fox and then retrieve the data off of the collar. And this data, again, is what we're using to understand habitat selection and movement patterns and home range size for gray foxes. If they're going to decide it's not worth it, it's going to be too late, what I want. With every project, there are hardships that come along with it. There's always going to be challenges. Nothing really ever goes to plan in biology. Kind of always want to have a plan B, maybe even C or D. For those students that really have a passion for wildlife, whether you really enjoy math and modeling, or if you really just want to get your hands dirty and be out in the field, whatever it is you want to do with wildlife, go out and volunteer. Apply for every internship possible. Just get your name out there, talk to professors, professionals, and graduate students. We're all just like you. We were there at one point in our lives. You'd be surprised how many people would be willing to help undergrads get that kind of experience.